You know what the irony of all this is? Is that growing up, when people play Legend of Zelda, they would call Link Zelda. They thought Zelda was in fact a dude. there is a little bit of irony of this. Big story. We saw this circulating last night, and it's been circulating a little bit longer than that, actually. Going back to October, Vera had pointed this out, as we saw this from gamingbible.com, as they're talking about the casting of the new Legend of Zelda movie. Now, this is going to be a live action movie, and there's been a lot of talk of who's obviously going to play Zelda, who's going to play Link, who's going to be Ganon. We don't know, but there's been a lot of speculation here. But once again, going back to October of 2024, people have been talking about this. We've seen this. Now, obviously, Vera, this is a big change, as we've actually seen CGI Zelda happen, right? Whereas with Mario, they decided to go with the CGI movie, but this one obviously they're going live action, which is obviously a big change in strategy for this. But so first and foremost, let's talk about the idea of casting a live action Zelda movie. I don't know, just what I haven't read this article. You put this in the pinned comment. What was going on in this article right here?
It just talks, so this article from back in October just talks about fan speculation. I know that around that time there were a lot of like AI posters and rumors going around about Tom Holland playing Link and like Emma Watson playing Zelda, which sounded, of course, absolutely insane. But then there were people bringing up this individual Hunter Schafer and talking about, oh my gosh, this person would be absolutely perfect. And there were like a couple of smaller fan petitions, and the Access Media picked up on that story. I mean, they were rooting for it when gamers really weren't. And now, of course, that's seemingly becoming a conversation again, because now we're hearing that apparently they're taking that fan casting a little bit seriously in Hollywood, and they're actually in talks with this individual.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Hunter Schafer is reportedly being eyed. This is blown up. This is 20 million views over on X since yesterday. Hunter Schafer is reportedly being eyed to play Princess Zelda in the live action Zelda movie. Now, why is this a big deal? Blabs, why is this a big deal?
That's a man.
Yes, Hunter Schafer is a very pretty man.
Here's the thing, though. That photo is pretty damn good. Like that, he can like be passing. But then if you go and look at other images, I'm like, oh, it's all about the angles and makeup for this one.
Yeah.
If you look at his arms are very long for a woman. His hands are very big. His shoulders are very broad. It's like, that's a man, bro.
I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I look at Hunter Schafer, I just see Ezra Miller, and I can't.
You're not wrong.
I just can't take them seriously.
Maybe they're siblings from another life. But yeah.
So Hunter Schafer is this person here, and I got to be honest, like, as you said, fairly passing, right? Like
in that one photo.
Yeah. Like, and that one a little more manny, right? But apparently this person is a dude who pretending to be a woman. And this has obviously caught a lot of people off guard. The idea that you have a dude who, with a wiener, who would be playing Princess Zelda. Princess Zelda obviously does not have a wiener, at least all that we know of. And this seems like a very big departure from something.
Twist.
Yes, very big plot twist. Mainly because Nintendo is a Japanese company, and they're not super down with all this, right? Just historically, this would be a very progressive move, obviously. Now, look, we've seen, if you know anything about the history of acting, men have played women in the past. This is a thing that historically, when it going all the way back to the Roman stuff, right? Shakespeare and all that, right? But it's mostly because women weren't allowed to act. So that's obviously lost in the whole idea of this. But this has brought up a lot of conversation. Now, look, I've always said the market will decide, right? I think what we're seeing right here when it comes to this idea of Hunter Schafer being teased as a potential person playing Princess Zelda, I think they're testing the waters on this. I think this is somebody that they were like, hey, what if we throw it out there, see what the response is from the internet and the potential paying customers, and then see what happens. That's what I think is happening right here.
I agree. I think that they're trying to test the waters and see how people are ultimately going to react, because Japan thinks this is what the West likes. And so I worry that the people in that case, who, of course, in Japan, Nintendo and stuff that would be making decisions like this, I think that they are willing to let a lot go. But I don't know if they would let this go. I don't know if this is a decision that Hollywood could convince them on.
That's the other thing about this is, like, Zelda is a big franchise.
Yes.
It's bigger in Japan than it is in the United States. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to be releasing releasing a movie for a global audience, specifically for a franchise that's built, that has tremendous Japanese lore, that has a huge, Japanese lore is not the right example, but there's a huge Japanese audience, right?
Yeah.
You obviously need to cater to them, and it's crazy to think about. But the pushback has been, or at least the response has been, very loud online, very loud online. Now let's first start with Dexerto, right? Dexerto came in, and the Forgotten Euphoria scene proves Hunter Schafer is perfect for Legend of Zelda movie here, right? And they kind of go in and they, talk about, more or less simp for this. Blabs, you put this in the run sheet. Did you read through this?
It's just a quick thing talking about how this guy had an amazing Euphoria scene. So if you didn't know, Hunter was basically auditioning for Euphoria, and he got the role. I'm going to use he because he's literally a dude.
Let me just say this.
They're showing the scene.
That looks like a dude in a major way.
It's literally a dude. So he was cast for the role of being a transgender girl in high school.
Uh-huh.
So they were saying how amazing the scene was and everything, and how great he is, and that's why he should play Zelda.
Whew. Yeah, that's a bad move.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this are, I'm kind of mixed. So on one hand, I'm very much like, well, Nintendo really wouldn't do this, in my personal opinion. They're a bit reserved. So casting someone who is not a woman to be a woman is really insane. And then I also think, on the other hand, we just saw Papa Ezadu become Snape, and everyone lost their shit, and they don't care. They're still moving forward with it, even though everyone since December was saying, no, terrible idea. Do not cast this man. And then on top of that, 5 years ago, we had the whole Summer of Love bullshit where if you were voice acting a black guy, but you weren't black, you were fired from The Simpsons to other characters and actors. And it's so this character is a woman, but now you have a man coming in and stealing a woman's job. How is that okay? But let's say voice acting another character is not okay. So you have all these different layers here. And I'm kind of, I don't know, at this point, I'm like, dude, it's Hollywood. They're going to do whatever the fuck they want, and they don't care what anyone else thinks.
Yeah, and another major problem I have is Hunter Schafer's age. This person will be 30 by the time they had made that movie. So we're talking about you completely age, even if, let's say, you think that this person looks like Zelda, which I definitely don't agree. We're talking about getting into a completely different age bracket here. That's terrible, at least... Mm-hmm. In my opinion. I just don't think that is the way. And I don't know why they're not looking at someone like, I know people in chat had mentioned Ellie Fanning. I think that she's also Fanning, getting up there in age. I like Isabella Sermon, though. I think that she was in Jurassic World. I think that she would be the best Zelda, hands down.
So I actually went in and
what do you mean about Jack Black or Zendaya?
So a couple things there. I actually found some alternatives, which we'll get to as well. Some other potential Zelda castings. We'll show you those in a second. But to talk about Princess Zelda's age, it depends on the game. In A Link to the Past, she's 16. In Wind Waker, she's around 12. In Breath of the Wild, she's 16, and turns 17 the day of the calamity commences. In Twilight Princess, she is 20. And and apparently by the end of Tears of the Kingdom, she is 10,124 years old. So it kind of varies by age, but she's certainly not 30.
No.
Right. And she's certainly not a dude. So what has been the response online to this? We saw this from James MK Ultra Money. Says this is actually the worst possible outcome nightmare scenario for this movie. This has 1.8 million views. And this is Dick Pickles says everyone's ignoring the fact he's got to have to talk.
Yeah, it's not just staged photos.
Right.
True.
What does Hunter Schafer sound like? Blabs, see if you can pull up a little Hunter Schafer, because I think that's really, really important, because Princess Zelda does have this really soft and very
Hunter
feminine.
Schafer does not have a pretty soft, feminine voice.
Oh, no, definitely not. Here it is.
Oh, hold on. Actually, I think we actually have some sound of it. Hey, bro! No, that's good.
I knew you would do that. All right, so here it is.
It sounds like a man.
It might not be why I thought I was put on this earth to do. Like, this is what I'm being fucking called to do right now.
Right.
And
Okay,
so that's been
good.
like a big problem.
Thank you.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, that's
Sounds-
enough slices.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the response to this, like I said, has been very loud online, and obviously we have people who are really going out of their way to defend this idea here. This post has 3.4 million views, 156,000 likes on it. Imagine being so bigoted you can't see this as the most perfect casting for Princess Zelda just because you're a transphobe here. Now, I think when you put the side by side here, you go, okay, yeah, I guess I can see that, right? But then you forget, like, once again, it's a dude, right? Now,
I find it extremely bigoted that you would take a role away from a biological female to give to a man.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same thing that happened with the Snow White movie. Oh, yes, let's replace these certain actors because one dwarf actor decided to complain, and then several are out of jobs. Not very inclusive.
no, and not at all inclusive by any means. But so Mugen Lord actually chimed in with this, responding to this, says, imagine being such a deranged social reject to believe that it's okay for a effing man to be cast in a role meant for biological women. Not only that you're advocating the erasure of women, but also the opportunity to be casted as the most iconic female character in pop culture history. Last I checked, Zelda didn't have a dick. Sit your goofy ass down. Right.
Yep.
And then of course you have people who, like, they're gonna be like, oh, we're gatekeeping roles, right? Like, it's like,
It's so
yes.
funny. It's the same people saying we're gatekeeping roles are the ones saying that, like, for the voice acting. Oh, you're not yellow enough. You're not Simpsons in real life. You can't voice act that. Only the black people can voice act the black people, and the Asians, the whiteies, and the whiteies. It's like, this is the same shit.
Yep, it's hypocrisy at its finest.
Yep.
Well, this person's saying, are we gatekeeping now? And he's like, yes, I am gatekeeping roles like this. Did you forget that they gate-kept Scarlett Johansson from playing a trans woman? That's a effing man.
That's
It's not a
true. They
woman.
did.
Yeah, and if you're okay with this man playing as one of the most iconic female characters in gaming history, then you're part of the problem. This is not normal. You loonies are calling this actor a woman when he is in fact a man. Women aren't cosplaying, and neither are men. I don't give an S. I got to talk nice because my daughter's here. I don't give an S who is triggered by this. It's a biological fact over here.
Absolutely.
So it's amazing to me to see the mental gymnastics associated with this, right? And then going back to, well, in Shakespeare, men played women, so it's okay. It's like, what are you talking about?
How
Like,
is that okay?
yeah, right.
We weren't even allowed to do jack shit back in the day. Ugh, so stupid.
Yeah.
So I asked AI if they could provide me Grok in particular some potential alternatives here, and these are some of the alternatives that they threw out for potential Zelda castings. And I got to be honest, I don't think many of these are bad. So let's start here. I don't even know how to say this person's name, but I'd love to get y'all's impressions of this. This is
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse
here?
Ronan, yeah.
Yeah.
Blabs, please
She's
wait till I get
Irish.
pulled up. Okay, there we go. Now I would say she's probably a little older.
Yeah, that's my problem with so many of the casting. It's like Anna Sophia Robb. I thought that she would have been great if they did that movie 10 years ago, but now she's 30. I'm not on board with a 30-year-old actress playing a character who is typically portrayed as 12 to 20.
Right. Then we have this Florence Pugh. Is that right? That's how you say her name?
No,
No?
not her.
Okay.
Her.
These are all
Florence
suggestions.
Pugh.
Yeah.
Okay. These are all
She's doing Marvel now.
okay.
Yeah, she's Black Widow. The new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chloe Grace Moritz.
She's too old too.
She's too old and she just does not look.
She's got her face is too round.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay.
Oof.
Then we had you said Ellie Fanning.
Yeah, Elle
Elle.
Fanning.
That's Dakota Fanning's younger sister.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, that's Zelda right there.
Well, the thing is, she was Aurora in Maleficent.
She was. Yeah.
Okay.
But again, we're starting to get to the
bit
point where it's
old.
like, also, do you want named actors, people who everyone is going to recognize? Sometimes that's not a good choice.
They should go for an unknown for Zelda.
I
That'd
agree.
be so ballsy, you know?
Yeah.
Pardon the pun, since Hunter and all. But
Hey, bada boom.
it would be so great. You find someone who actually looks the part, can act, and you just give them a whole ass career instead of using the same 10 women every time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here is the final and potentially best one that I've seen. Sydney Sweeney.
No.
No thanks.
She's
All
got
right.
a modern face. That's my problem. My personal choice would be Isabella Sermon because she's 18, so she's younger. She's in that age bracket. She was pretty good in the Jurassic World movies, and she's, in my opinion, the most elf-looking character person out of all of the speculations I've seen or fan casts I've seen.
Maisie, right? That was who she played?
Will you
Yeah.
pull her up, please?
Yeah, I got her.
Thank you.
Let me add. There we go. Maisie. So she
Yeah.
was like the clone of Jurassic World.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that she could play, well, of course, she has the look. Now, if she could act the part, I don't think Zelda would be particularly difficult unless they started changing her story around. But I think that she could definitely fit the part.
Well,
At least she's in the age bracket. She's not a 30-year-old man.
Okay.
So,
let's. Oh boy. Okay. So let's throw out. I asked Rock to give me some actors between the ages of 16 and 20. Right. Emma Myers came up. I don't know if you know who Emma Myers is. She looks kind of familiar.
She looks so. Oh wait, she's the chick from Wednesday. She's the
oh,
roommate.
yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I knew
Yeah,
she
she's
looked
not. If you
familiar.
scroll down, you see her photo with her and Jenna. That's why I was like, oh yeah,
That's right. Yes, she is. She is on Wednesday. Yes, and she has kind of like an elfy look.
yeah.
Right. I guess. McKenna
Definitely young
Grace.
enough.
McKenna Grace here. I don't. She looks kind of familiar. Like I've seen her in
She's done
Shooting.
a lot of shit.
She was in
actually.
the newer Ghostbusters movies.
Yeah.
She played Phoebe. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And this other one, Sadie Sink.
Oh, that's Max from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the point is that there's a lot of alternatives that could be picked here. And we know, I was talking to my wife about this. I said, so there's a big rumor going on right now that they could be casting like a trans person as Princess Zelda. And the first thing she asked, she goes, why? Like, what's the point? Right?
There's really no young females that you can actually cast. Seriously, Hollywood?
Zero.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of why my wife asked that. She's like, there's nobody else that they could find. Is this person truly the best person for the job? Right. And once again, I'm big on meritocracy. Look, if they honestly feel that Hunter Schafer is the best person for the job, okay, great. The market will decide. And I think that you will not see a success like you saw with Super Mario Brothers and $1.3 billion generated from that. And especially I think going the live action route, that number one, when you are investing that much money into a product, right? Your job is to mitigate risk, right? You want to take as few risks as possible, especially when it comes to something that people love and adore, that have 40 years of history with this wonderful IP that's gonna hit the screen with a major production behind it for the first time. You want to remove as much risk as possible because you want a return on investment, right? Going live action is a risk. Why would you then compound that risk exponentially make that risk more by doing something like this? It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense, but most of the moves that Hollywood makes nowadays doesn't make sense.
Yeah, none of it makes sense.
Like, do you think that Miyamoto, like, legitimately ever, like, I mean, he has to have a way, he has to
have a say,
has input on all this, right? It's literally his vision, right?
Right.
So, and I don't think that he was like, yeah, I'd really like to see this Hunter guy be this princess from my brain. You know what I mean? It seems really, really weird. But we'll see if there's an official casting. And maybe this is one of those things where they throw it out there. There's so much response to it. They realize that, okay, maybe we're not going to make $1 billion on this if we do this. And the guy's like, hey, what's up, Link? But that they, when they do cast somebody that is a little more fit for the role, right? Maybe that there's like it has an uptick of happiness around it. People are like, yay, and then that builds hype around it. Maybe I'm 4D chessing this a little bit too much.
I think you are, especially since what we just saw with Snape.
I think another problem, though, is that Hollywood is trying so hard right now to basically fight anybody who they've deemed as Trumpers, right? They're trying to make an anti-Trump statement and basically piss off half of the United States. And I hope Nintendo stops them. I hope that this plan, or at least this idea, doesn't actually happen, but I wouldn't put it past Hollywood. And they're definitely upping their political statements lately, so that is a major issue.
It's a big topic, and I do think that they're just throwing out feelers here. You guys obviously have a lot to say about this, so let's get to some of your supers over here. Ian came in with the pronouns of Zelda right here. Thank you very much, Ian. Steven says, that's why Nintendo is dead. They found Captain Winky. It's a reference. Awesome reference. Flying Nanook says, one of the key features of the Zelda games having been their unique art styles and animations, making a live action Zelda is the dumbest decision any studio can make.
I agree. I think they'd have to put so much money into it. It would be an insane budget. Whew. And even then, I don't know if they'd be able to nail it.
West came in and says, Craig has gone full boomer, pushing stocks and not accepting Bitcoin donations or doing ads for Swan or Strike. Listen, if you guys want to send Bitcoin our way, we will gladly accept it. As a matter of fact, I think we can actually set that up over on Plus, where you guys can support us if you like to send Bitcoin our way. We will gladly accept it. I'm a big believer in Bitcoin. Marius says, we all know how Nintendo is with their IP. There is no way they do anything with the Zelda movie that could potentially damage their IP. They play it incredibly safe.
I hope so, but I'd never put it past a company.
You know what the irony of all this is that growing up, when people play Legend of Zelda, they would call Link Zelda. They thought Zelda was in fact a dude. There is a little bit of irony of this. Eric came in and says, would definitely add a new meaning to, well, excuse me, princess.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Hey, YouTube suggested that you should watch this video too, so you should probably do it.